The small town of Maple Ridge was quiet that morning, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone and gossip traveled faster than the wind. The sun was barely up when Emma Carter, a single mother of a 3-year-old girl named Lily, began her day. She tied her apron over her worn white blouse and brushed a few golden strands of hair out of her face. Another day at Bean's Corner Cafe, a place that smelled of cinnamon, hope, and exhaustion. Emma had been working there for almost 5 years, ever since her husband died in a car accident. Life hadn't been kind, but she never complained. Her world now revolved around Lily, whose laughter gave her the strength to keep going. That morning, business was slow. The bell over the cafe door jingled as a tall man in a dark coat walked in. He looked out of place, expensive watch, sharp suit, and a distant expression that screamed, city. He ordered a black coffee but seemed distracted, patting his pockets. Damn, he muttered under his breath, I must have left my wallet on the jet. Emma smiled politely. Don't worry about it. Coffee's on the house. The man looked up, surprised. You don't even know me. Emma shrugged. It's just coffee. Everyone forgets something sometimes. He hesitated. I'll pay you back. She laughed softly. If you come back, I'll hold you to it. He took the cup, nodded, and walked out into the chilly morning without another word. Emma didn't think much of it. She had regulars to serve and a little girl waiting at home. That night, as she tucked Lily into bed, Emma thought about the stranger. There was something about his eyes, weary, maybe sad. But then she pushed the thought away. People like him lived in another world, one where helicopters were as normal as her old car that barely started. She drifted to sleep to the sound of crickets outside, unaware that the next morning would change her life forever. At dawn, a deep rumble woke her. The windows rattled, and the sound grew louder, closer. Lily screamed, clutching her teddy bear. Emma ran to the door, and froze. A helicopter was landing right outside her small house, whipping up dust and leaves in a furious storm. A black car pulled up behind it, its doors opening in perfect sync. Emma's heart pounded. What on earth? The helicopter door opened, and out stepped the man from the cafe. He wasn't wearing a suit this time, just a navy coat, the morning sun glinting off the golden pin on his lapel. He walked toward her, his expression serious but soft. Good morning, Miss Carter. Emma stood frozen in the doorway, Lily clinging to her shoulder. What is this? Who are you? I owe you for that coffee, he said simply, though his words carried weight. She blinked in disbelief. You landed a helicopter, for a cup of coffee? The man smiled slightly. No. I came to thank you properly. He handed her an envelope. Emma hesitated but took it. Inside was a check, not for $10, not $100, but for $250,000. She gasped. This must be a mistake. It's not, he said. You helped someone when you had nothing to gain. That kind of kindness is rare. Emma shook her head. I can't take this. I just did what anyone would do. The man stepped closer, his gaze steady. No, Miss Carter. Not everyone would. You see, yesterday was the worst day of my life. I had just come from a board meeting where my own brother tried to betray me and steal everything our father built. I left the city to think. I ended up in your cafe, angry, tired, ready to give up on people entirely. And then, a stranger handed me coffee with a smile. He paused, looking down at the little girl who peeked from behind Emma's arm. That small gesture reminded me there's still good left in this world. Emma felt tears sting her eyes. But I don't deserve this money. He shook his head. You deserve more than that. But let's start here. The town buzzed for weeks after that morning. People whispered about the helicopter, the mystery man, and the woman who had changed a billionaire's life with a cup of coffee. Emma tried to return the check, but the man, whose name she eventually learned was Alexander Grant, CEO of Grant Industries, refused to take it back. He visited the cafe again, this time without a suit or a bodyguard. "How's Lily?" he asked, smiling as the little girl offered him a cookie. "She's good," Emma said softly. "Still talks about your flying car." He chuckled. "She's not wrong." Over time, Alexander's visits became more frequent. Sometimes he'd drop by just for coffee. Other times, he'd stay to help clean up after closing. The townspeople noticed, of course. One evening, as they stood outside watching the sunset, Emma finally asked, "Why do you keep coming back here? Don't you have an empire to run?" He looked at her, his expression unreadable. "Because I've spent years surrounded by people who only smiled when they wanted something from me. You were the first person who didn't. You saw me as a person, not a name." She blushed, looking down. "I didn't do anything special. You reminded me what matters," he said quietly. "And I don't want to forget that again." Months passed. With Alexander's help, Emma expanded her cafe into a bakery and hired more single mothers like herself. She never flaunted the money, never changed who she was. One morning, Alexander showed up again, this time in a simple shirt, holding a small box. "Emma," he said, his voice softer than usual. "I was hoping to ask you something." Lily ran to him, laughing. "Alex. You come fly again?" He laughed, lifting her up. "Maybe someday, kiddo." Then he turned to Emma. "I don't just want to visit anymore. I want to stay." Emma blinked, her heart skipping. "Stay." He opened the box, inside was a silver ring. "You taught me what real love and kindness look like. If you'll let me, I want to be here, with you, with Lily, not as a billionaire, but as a man."